In this video, I will explain to you what you will do when you see the paper for the first time. So this is what the front cover of the exam paper will look like. It'll have the date on it and the topic, and you need to make sure that you've received the correct paper. So for history, there are lots of different topics, and you should make sure that you've got the right topic for your exam. If you're expecting to sit the crime and punishment paper, make sure it doesn't say medicine on the front, and vice versa. You can see then on the front cover of the GCSE paper that there are lots of instructions, and most of these will be things that you're very familiar with. For instance, you're only supposed to write in black ink, and you need to make sure that you write your name at the top of the paper. It will also tell you what the total marks are for the booklet and how long you have to answer it, but you will probably be familiar with those things before you get into the exam room. Okay, once I've received this paper then and the examiner has said that it's okay for me to start, I'll turn over and I will see this as the first question on the Elizabeth paper. So the first question, or two questions really, because it's split into two parts now on the newer papers, are the describe one feature of question. And I know going into this exam that it will say describe one feature of, describe one feature of, and so really what I'm looking for is the end part of this question. At this point in the exam, you might want to have a highlighter with you. You can't use a highlighter in any part of your answer, but you can use it to highlight parts of the question that you think will help make you focus. So for instance, if I was going to highlight society in this question, because that's what it's asking me about, this first one here. I know that a society question for Elizabeth is asking me about ordinary people. It's asking me about the hierarchy, and so that's what this question is asking. So for this question, I'm going to think about writing about that social hierarchy. So I'm going to write one feature of society is a social hierarchy. So that's the first mark that I will get on this paper. Then after that, I need to make sure that I've written some extra specific factual detail so that the examiner knows I know what I'm talking about. So to answer this question, I'm going to write the most populous group was the peasantry, which was the poorest group. So here you can see I have listed one feature of society, and then I've given some really specific factual information about that feature. So in this case, I've written that the biggest group or the most populous group was the peasantry. So that is a specific factual bit of information. Then for the second question on this paper, I can see that it is asking me about exploration. In the date range for this, it is 1558 to 1588, which is the whole of our time period, and I can see that at the top of the paper because the topic for our paper is here at the top, and those date ranges match. So I'm okay to write about anything that we've learned about in exploration. For this question, I could write about the key characters that we've learned about, or some of the motivations, or even some of the areas that they explored. But I'm going to write about one of the causes, so I'm going to put one feature So again, I've given my feature, and then also I've given some specific factual information. So I've written one feature of exploration was that it was motivated by economic reasons as my feature, and then Sir Francis Drake was endorsed by Elizabeth as a privateer to steal gold from the Spanish in the New World. And that would get me 4 marks for answering both parts of that question then, because I've got a feature and a specific factual detail, a feature and then another bit of specific factual detail.